All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden and honestly kind of shocking physical power source behind our digital lives. We're talking about atomic AI. Every time you ask ChatGPT a question or have an AI generate an image, you're tapping into a truly enormous amount of power. And as this quote gets at, the energy demand has gotten so insane that the solution, well, it's coming from a place nobody saw coming. Okay, so first things first. Before we get to the wild solution, we really need to understand the problem itself. And that is the sheer scale of AI's appetite. This isn't just about software and code, not at all. It's about a very real, very physical hunger for energy. And honestly, the best way to get your head around this is a concept called the soda straw effect. I want you to picture a giant, invisible soda straw sticking into the ground, just sucking up all the electricity and water from one single spot on the map. That's exactly what a modern AI data center does to a local community. It's this incredibly intense, focused demand. You want a number to put on that? How about this one? 49 billion, with a B, gallons of water. And that's just the projection for data centers in Texas for the year 2026 alone. The scale is it's hard to even comprehend. And what does that look like in the real world? Well, it looks like this. The explosive growth of these so-called data center alleys. I mean, you can literally see them from a plane, these huge, windowless buildings stretching for miles across places like Virginia. The digital world has a very, very big and very real physical footprint. Which, of course, brings us to the big multi-billion-dollar question, right? When you need that much power, around the clock, 24/7, with zero interruptions, where on earth do you find it? And here it is, the answer. It's something straight out of the Cold War era. Big tech is looking to the ghosts of the past, and they are waking up old, shut-down nuclear power plants. I'm not kidding, they are literally bringing zombie reactors back from the dead. So you have to ask, why nuclear, right? Why not just build more solar panels or wind turbines? Well, look, renewables are fantastic, but you know the deal. The sun goes down, the wind stops blowing. They're intermittent. AI, on the other hand, never sleeps. It needs constant, reliable 24/7 baseload power. And right now, at this scale, only nuclear can provide that without pumping out more carbon. So let's look at a real-world example of this in action, and it's a place with a very famous name, 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania. Yeah, that 3 Mile Island. For decades, it's been the symbol of the dangers of nuclear power, the site of America's most infamous nuclear accident. But get this. Unit 1, the sister reactor to the one that had a partial meltdown, is being restarted, and its entire power output, a massive 835 megawatts, is being bought by a single company, Microsoft. The plant is basically being reborn as a private power station for the cloud. So you might be wondering, why on earth would a community agree to this? Well, here's your answer. $16 billion. That's the estimated economic boost from this deal. That's an argument that's pretty tough for any local government to say no to. Now, 3 Mile Island gets all the headlines, but the plant that really kicked this whole trend off, that's our second case study, the Palisades plant in Michigan. This one is arguably even more important because it set the precedent for all of this. What's so historic here is that Palisades was the first. I mean, this place was done. It was shut down, fully decommissioned in 2022. Lights out, game over. Or so everyone thought. But nope, it's scheduled to wake up and come back online in early 2026. The first true zombie reactor resurrected specifically to feed AI. But as you can imagine, a radical solution like this is creating an equally radical backlash. And what's so fascinating is that the new opposition isn't really focused on the old fears. It's a whole different ballgame. It's not just about radiation anymore. You can see what's happening here. It's a very new, very different kind of protest. In places like Michigan and Texas, you have these unlikely alliances forming, longtime environmentalists standing side by side with regular local homeowners. And their big concerns now, the massive water consumption we talked about, and something simpler, the constant humming industrial noise from the data centers themselves, a noise that never, ever stops. Now, inside the tech world, there's actually a big debate going on about the best way to do this. You've got two main strategies emerging. On one side, you have Microsoft's approach. Go find these big, old zombie plants and just flip the switch back on. On the other side, you have what Google's exploring. Let's build brand new, smaller, so-called mini-reactors from scratch. So this is where we are. We're at the dawn of what you can only really call the age of atomic AI. And you just can't escape the central irony of it all, can you? We are powering the futuristic digital gods of the 21st century with these giant, concrete temples that we built back in the 1970s. And if there is one key thing to take away from all of this, it's that the cloud is not a cloud at all. The whole idea of this clean, weightless, magical thing floating above us is a total myth. It is completely dependent on a massive, loud, thirsty, and yes, deeply controversial industrial foundation right here on the ground. Which really leaves us with this final thought. It's a simple idea, but it perfectly captures this strange new reality we're building. We built the cloud, but the cloud needs the ground. So the question we all have to ask ourselves is, what does it mean for our future when our most advanced technology relies so heavily on the ghosts of our industrial past?